During the 18th century, China had many exports of tea and silk to Great Britain. However, Great Britain did not have enough exports. Great Britain decided to force China to open their ports and import tons of opium from India to the Chinese ports. China became addicted to opium, and it negatively affected China socially and economically.
The
people became less productive and killed themselves from an overdose of opium. The Chinese government wanted to stop the excessive imports of opium. They dumped chests of opium into the water, and they began to take the British as hostages.
What are you doing? No! Where am I going? Get out of here! You! Get me out of here!
This caused the First Opium War. Then Great Britain agreed to the Treaty of Nanjing. However, it was unfair and favored Great Britain. In the treaty, British citizens could live in China, and that created extraterritoriality, where British citizens in China were only impacted by their own nation's laws, but not China's laws. Also, China had to pay $18 million to Britain for damages and expenses, and to release all hostages, including the Chinese.
You're free, okay?
In contrast, Japan was powerful enough to conquer Korea and southern Manchuria through the First Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War. Before Japan became powerful, Emperor Meiji was restored as head of Japan in 1868, thus creating the Meiji Restoration. Japan became a higher form of government, a refined constitution, a well-developed transport and communication systems, a highly educated population, a rapidly growing industrial country, and a powerful military. In the First Sino-Japanese War, it was Japan's first overseas war with China over Korea, and it resulted in a collapse of King China because of the Japanese victory, and the victory undermined the king. In the Russo-Japanese War, Russia and Japan were competing for Korea because they believed it was economically and strategically important to improve their country. A comparison of China-Japan was that China was imperialized by Great Britain and Japan imperialized other countries. Japan started the First Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War. Japan was successful in both wars and was able to gain massive cash from China under the Treaty of Shimonoseki. China was under a lot of pressure because foreign powers demanded more territory after China's defeat. In the Russo-Japanese War, the outcome was the Treaty of Portsmouth, where Russia lost their battles and territories in China to end the war with Japan. Japan became more like Germany because they adapted their style of government from them. It was a bureaucracy with separate departments like the Westerners. It also became more like Great Britain because they both imperialized other countries and were successful. China became more like Africa because they got taken over by other countries because of their resources. Japan became more like Germany because they adapted their style of government from them. It was a bureaucracy with separate departments like the Westerners. It also became more like Great Britain because they both imperialized other countries and were successful. China became more like Africa because they got taken over by other countries because of their resources.